Monday Night Raw took place tonight in Cincinnati, Ohio, and this was the Go Home Raw edition for Elimination Chamber, which takes place this Saturday in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from the Rogers Centre. But to all us wrestling fans, it'll always be known as the Sky Dome. Anyway, I have to say, after last night's SmackDown, which was one of the worst episodes of SmackDown ever, I thought it was a horrible show. Tonight's Raw was a very good show and definitely a bounce back. So before we get into the show, I want to get into some news that broke this weekend, and that was that Carmella, her contract expired this past week, and she is no longer under contract with the WWE. Now, it was revealed that after her pregnancy, she suffered from a condition called drop foot, and she's really can't wrestle anymore. If you ever noticed when Scott Steiner came into his WWE run and he was really horrible, it was due to that condition. It's impossible to move, so it's probably understandable why she can't wrestle. I'm surprised I didn't give her some ambassador role, but I just wanted to bring that up. Her career overall was definitely successful. When she first came in, she was definitely overpushed. She got a horrible long title reign, and before that she won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I was not a huge fan of her in that period, but when she came and really reinvented herself during the pandemic era, when she became the woman who wore all those dresses, and her whole gimmick was she was the most beautiful woman in WWE. That era of Carmella, that year and a half run, I thought she was actually really entertaining. She was really good, and she had solid matches in the ring. So overall, it's a little sad to see her end that way, because you expect her to come back for a little bit. But if that's it for Carmella, I have to say she definitely had a decent run there. Also, I have to talk about the segment from SmackDown one last time. The Rock and Cody Rhodes. I was thinking some stuff off my chest. I've really thought about it a lot this weekend. Okay, why does The Rock trying to recruit a guy who's a WWE champion? He keeps saying he's going to make his life better. Like, what else does he need? Cody's a multi-millionaire. He's been the WWE champion during the hottest. Well, maybe WWE's not the hottest it's ever been, but it's definitely the most successful business-wise it's ever been in its history. There's no doubting it. The last couple of years, it's incredibly been very successful. So for him to just go and say, I'm going to take you to new heights, it really makes the WWE look bad, and especially devalues the WWE Championship. I mean, we all know, the major Hollywood movie star is going to make a lot more than the wrestling champion, but still, it really devalues us. That really annoyed me. I had to get that off my chest. But anyway, let's get to this Raw show. Logan Paul comes out to start the show. Cincinnati hates him. He says Cincinnati wastes its talent like Joe Burrow, who's, of course, the star quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. He runs down everyone in the chamber, including John Cena, which he emphasized him, and then CM Punk. And Punk interrupts him. Logan Paul rips on CM Punk for failing outside of wrestling. He didn't mention MMA, but he brought that up. Logan Paul is a good shoot fighter, and I don't know if he's a good shoot fighter. He fights a bunch of MMA fighters. That's his brother, to be honest. I don't know how many boxing matches he even had. Anyway, he was basically mocking Punk for his failed MMA career. And they go back and forth for a bit. Logan Paul basically slaps him and runs off. That match is coming. It's not happening at WrestleMania. I don't think you're going to get CM Punk and Logan Paul. But that match is definitely coming. Could be SummerSlam. Could be later down in the year. Or maybe sometime next year. I don't know. But we're going to get that match. And I think they had a good back and forth. Once they really get into a promo and they're building up to a match, I think it'll be a lot better. But this was actually pretty entertaining. They share highlights of Penta against Pete Dunne from last week's Raw, and in which Kaiser basically cost Dunne the match. Then he had a triple threat, Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, and Penta. Before the match started, Kaiser cut a promo. I thought, man, I really wish they'd do more with this guy. And maybe I got my wish, because he won a good match here. This was entertaining. It was back and forth. All three of them were very good workers. Kaiser got the win, so this is Penta's official first loss. However, he did not get pinned. Kaiser pinned Pete Dunne. Makes you think Kaiser's going to get Pete Dunne to convince him, and eventually there'll be a team. There'll be another, part of Imperium. I mean, Giovanni Vinci was Italian, so I guess it's fine. Pete Dunne's English, and Well, he's going with the German guy, Kaiser, so I think that's fine. It's not like, it seems like whole Imperium's supposed to be a European thing. I think that works. So maybe it'll be a team, and I think it's better for them actually, if not even be Imperium, just be a solid team that's separate from Gunther, because they've separated Kaiser from Gunther. But anyway, this was a fun match. Kaiser got the win, and I hope they do more with them. They do a John Cena video package. It's his last Elimination Chamber. Sorry, it's not as sentimental as it being as much as it is being his last Royal Rumble. Last Chamber is okay. I mean, he's won like 3 chambers or something. I think only Triple H has won more. He had Jackie Redmond interviewing Rhea Ripley, and I was shocked this year because we actually saw Rhea and she's in front of the live crowd. And I thought, wait, Rhea's on her honeymoon. Why is she here? I mean, let her just be on her honeymoon. She's not needed here, but we see her in front of the live crowd, and she talks about her match with Io Sky. She's cutting a good promo, and then she is joined by one Sky, and Rhea was going off on how she's beating all the top women. She mentioned Becky Lynch. She mentioned Charlotte Flair. She mentioned Liv Morgan. But then Io Sky interrupts, and she says she'll defeat Rhea next week. And they did a good job hyping up the match. They had a nice stare down, and I'm looking forward to it next week. I really want Io Sky to get into the match at WrestleMania. I really think she deserves it. And I hate saying deserves it, but she's super over. She's getting as big of a reaction as anyone for the woman right now, except for Rhea Ripley. And I really hope they have a spot for her in that match. Next, you had the New Day and the LWO. New Day wins. They just beat them up after the match. Dragon Lee made a save. He gets his ass kicked. It was basically the same thing we saw on SmackDown with the Street Profits after they won their match, and the Motor City Machine Guns came in and got their asses kicked. Not much here. Judgment Day argues backstage about adding a new member. They're going back and forth, so I think it's pretty clear it's going to be Aleister Black. I think he will be the new member. Liv's upset for them for fighting again. And she goes on, her and Raquel never attack Jade, and then they continue the tension with Finn and Dom. Gunther heads to the ring. They had Kathy Kelly interviewing about AJ Styles backstage. And then Logan Paul crashes the interview, and he mocks AJ Styles for his Rumble performance and his injury. AJ and him go back and forth, similar to Punk, and that's another match that's coming. I don't know if it's going to happen right away at WrestleMania. I think there's definitely more of a likely scenario of Logan Paul wrestling AJ Styles and CM Punk at WrestleMania, but that's another match I do think we will see down the line. It could be, and I think it'll be sooner than later, sooner than the Punk match. It just might not be at Mania, I'm not sure. Gunther's in the ring. He cuts a promo on Jey Uso. He wants to embarrass him at Mania, and he introduces a hand-picked opponent. That's Mr. Akira Tozawa. So you had Tozawa come out, and I have to say, they had a fun little matchup. I was actually entertained. Tozawa got a surprising amount of offense, but eventually Gunther finishes him off. He chops him, powerbombs him, puts him into sleeper hold. After the match, Gunther's continued to beat him down. Otis stands up for Tozawa. He gets Gunther to retreat, but then Gunther comes back as a chicken shit heel and puts a sleeper on Otis. And then Jey Uso comes in, makes the save. Gunther retreats. I like Gunther. He's so entertaining here. Jey Uso, I think, sucks, man. Jey Uso is not the guy. He's not main event material. He's not world title match at WrestleMania material. He's not singles match at WrestleMania material. You need any evidence? Look at his match last year with his brother Jimmy. One of the worst WrestleMania matches ever. Oh, man, I'm done. I don't want to see Jey. I feel bad. Gunther has to lose his bum. So they do a recap of Michael Cole on the Impulsive, the Logan Paul podcast. They had Lyra and Valkyria and Dakota Kai heading to the ring. And then we get the match for the Women's International title. Solid matchup. A lot of pinfall counters. You saw a lot of different roll-ups, variations. I thought that was entertaining. Did it a little bit too much, I thought. And I really wanted Dakota Kai to win. I really like her. I think she's very talented. I don't know if she's getting a reaction too much, but I seem like the fans from what I saw were more into Dakota than they were into Lyra. And the fans don't hate Lyra. They kind of like her. But they were more into Dakota, and I wanted Dakota to win really bad. Lyra just pins her clean. I'm thinking to myself, well, what's next for Dakota? I mean, I hate saying to think about what. Do they have anything else for her? I mean, I don't want to see something happen that I don't want. I really like Dakota, and I'm really worried me that could happen to her right now. But after the match, Ivy Nile comes on. I'm thinking to myself, I don't give a shit about Ivy now. Nobody gives a shit about Ivy now. I'd much rather see Dakota get her moment. But she comes in, she beats up Dakota Kai, and she beats down Lyra Valkyria. And I mean, who cares about Ivy Nile, really? They do a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn video package, and they had Jackie randomly interviewing Sami Zayn earlier in the day. Sami reveals he went to Kevin Owens' home, and no one was there, but he saw Kevin's mom, and they talked. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sure Sami stayed for dinner, just like how Kevin stayed for dinner last Friday. Of course. I mean, oh, yeah. What are we going to do for a match, Jay? Oh, yeah. I don't know. How about we go through the steps, we break a few tables, I can jump off a couple ladders, eh? Yeah. Well, whatever. They're going to have a good match. I'm sure it's a big match for them. It's Toronto. It's the Sky Dome. They're going to go in there and kick each other's asses. They're going to put on a hell of a match. It's just something I've seen 100 times. I don't want to watch this ever again. I really want this to be the last one, and I just hope they get to wrestle in Toronto and be done and be happy with it. No more of this feud, please. Kathy Kelly interviews Bayley on the break, and then she's interrupted by the one Roxanne. And by the way, Roxanne's clearly a heel. I think there's some confusion last week if she's a babyface or heel, because she was clearly the face in the match last week against Raquel Rodriguez. Here, the answer is clear. She's definitely a heel. They go back and forth, and all I'm thinking is, man, I hope we get this match at WrestleMania. I'd love to see Bayley against Roxanne at WrestleMania. I think they'll have a great match. And even if it's not WrestleMania, how about have it at NXT Stand and Deliver? But none of them they're not even on NXT anymore, so I guess that's out of the table. When they first had that face-to-face back in January on NXT, I thought maybe we're going to get this match at NXT Stand and Deliver, but it's more of a likely scenario at WrestleMania we get this. But they'll definitely have a singles match soon. Braun Breaker against Dominic Mysterio. Carlito and Finn attack Braun, causing disqualification. Braun fought off the entire Judgment Day. Not much here. They show highlights of The Rock on SmackDown. Then they have Cody Rhodes heading to the ring. They had the Creed brothers backstage praising Ivy Nile. Kathy Kelly interviews Ivy if she wants a title shot. Then you had the War Raiders jump the Creed brothers, and that's another title match set for next week. Cody Rhodes comes out to a big prop from the Cincinnati crowd. He mentions the decision with The Rock is also related to his family. He mentions Brandy, who got a decent pop. He talks about his sister and his kid, his daughter, obviously, and his nephews and nieces. And he didn't mention an older brother, certain older brother, but he also talked about his mom and the memory of his father. Everyone in his family except his brother. I wonder why anyway. Then he keeps he's contemplating it, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I already went on the right. The guy's the fucking champion. He's a multi-millionaire. He's very wealthy. Why does he need to sell? It makes more sense for The Rock to target someone who's not the champion, someone who's on the ascendant. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Rock targeting Cody, why? Anyway, Seth interrupts, and when I heard Seth, I got vibes from last year's Mania, and it was revealed. Seth said this is the first time they've been in the ring together since WrestleMania 40, and I was surprised to hear that. But it's definitely true, because Seth was gone for a while after the show. Seth asks Cody what the hell he's thinking, and he's very upset. He feels betrayed by Cody because Seth would sacrifice himself for Cody to win the title, which is true. I mean, Seth was basically on one leg last WrestleMania. Cody brings up Seth's past of how Cody attacked him after the Hell in a Cell, after they had that crazy match, and he mentioned Seth breaking up the Shield, and then he thanks Seth for helping him win at last year's WrestleMania. He really put Seth over here, and I thought it was a really effective segment. I thought Cody was good, and Seth was really good. This is some of the best I've seen of Seth. I criticize Seth all the time, but Seth says he doesn't want to hate Cody, and he wants it. He will win the Chamber and challenge him at Mania. That's how it ended, and this is the best of Seth Rollins. Sometimes I'm very critical of him. I get really annoyed by him and his voice, but here, this was really good. They preview the Elimination Chamber. They show highlights of the whole Jade thing. It was a whole video package set up for the tag match main event. They have Liv and Raquel out. Liv heels up on the crowd. They show Kurt Cesaro checking in the room. They had Jay Tech checking in on him, and Maxine Dupree and Otis were there as well. Eitan Down Under mocked Jey Uso. They mocked the Yeats. He cuts his usual promo, and I think they had Grayson Waller reference the internet. I think to myself, yeah, well, I don't care much what the IWC as a whole says. People like me think Jey Uso sucks, and this did not change my mind. Theory does the yeet by mistake as Grayson's mocking it, and then Jimmy super kicks Grayson Waller, and that was the segment. And then we get to next to preview next week's Raw. Then we get to the main events. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the line. Bianca Belair and Naomi defended their belts against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Damn good match. Damn good women's match. One of the better women's tag matches you've seen on Raw. They fucking killed it out there. That was a fun match. It was entertaining. It was surprising. It was suspenseful because you thought it could really go either way. I believe Liv and Raquel would win. But I thought there's a decent chance Bianca and Naomi keep it. They went back and forth. It was entertaining. It was a lot of near falls, several breakups. You had a couple spots. You had them really take down Bianca for a while. Raquel did. And eventually, I didn't like the ending though. It was basically Naomi's going for the split-legged moonsault to Liv, but Raquel grabs her and smashes her head against the ring post. And Dom was all over the match. He kept interfering. He really ruined the match. And Liv just pinned Naomi, and Liv and Raquel are the tag team champions. So I think we're going to find out who attacked Jade very soon. I was thinking Jade might come in here and make a return and help Bianca and Naomi win, but it didn't happen. So we're going to see what happened with Jade. We'll learn eventually, and I think someone's turning heel. One of the two, Bianca or Naomi, did it. Liv and Raquel did not do it. As for the Chamber, this definitely makes Liv Morgan's win less likely because I don't think she'll probably win now. I thought she was the favorite at first. Now, she might not. They could ever go in. I mean, the last 2 years, the women's tag team titles have not been defended at WrestleMania, so they can even have Liv defend the titles one night and challenge for the title the next night. So, not a guarantee she doesn't win, but I think it's much less likely. And I think the favorite is now probably Bianca Belair. So, that's how Raw ended. Definitely a rebound show from the disaster that was SmackDown last week. Raw, I thought tonight, a very good show, especially the last hour. I thought was really good with the Cody Seth segment and the main event, which I thought really delivered. And I enjoyed Raw, and we'll see what happens on Elimination Chamber this Saturday as we continue to drive down the road to WrestleMania.